All right, we have some typical, albeit bizarre, weather here as we get ready to wrap up the month of February. So let's get right into what you can expect here over the course of the next several days here. Week ahead weather in Alabama. So we have a freeze all the way down to the coast, likely on Tuesday morning. Midweek warm up, and of course, anytime we get warm this time of year, is typically not rain too far behind. See rain and a few thunderstorms Thursday into Friday morning, and all in all, a decent weekend ahead weather-wise. So we'll continue with another bout of spring-like weather. So we look at our upper pattern here, and there's that trough on its way out Tuesday after a very cold start. And then we kind of level off in this pattern where we have ridging over the southwest United States and a very broad long wave trough across the eastern U.S. So what does that mean? Well, that means that we're probably going to have temperatures that are fairly reasonable through the middle of the week, a little bit warm. We will have some with cooler air aloft, probably some more cloud cover around on Wednesday. Thursday, you can see that trough tighten up just a little bit, and we'll have a front come in associated with that, but really nothing too significant. As you can see, with a broad, long wave trough, you don't typically have a good dynamic support with a system like that, and we don't expect it. By Friday, again, a very weak wedge of cool air coming in here, but it should not last for too long. And then as we head towards the weekend, that ridging holding tight over the southwest U.S., beginning to build in the middle of the country, and we start to see higher height values and warmer temperatures for the southeast. Temperatures, again, story number one, hard freeze all the way down to the coast. Temperatures in the mid-20s all the way into the Wiregrass, low 20s, even some teens in northern Alabama. But hey, that goes away quickly. By Wednesday afternoon, we got highs in the 70s south of US 80, 60s in the northern half of the state. And Thursday, ahead of a frontal passage, we'll get pretty warm. Temperatures should be in the upper 60s in central Alabama, low to mid 60s across the Tennessee Valley, and down in the Wiregrass and points towards the coast, mid to upper 70s. And behind that frontal system, that weak front, we dip back into the 40s for the northern Alabama, 50s to the south. And Friday afternoon into Saturday, we should continue with the warming trend. Saturday morning will be probably the coolest of the forecast period, at least in the short term, with mid 40s to the north, no freezing conditions, and 50s to the south. By Saturday afternoon, 70s look very possible, if not likely, statewide. So that takes us to our next system here. And let's go into the modeling data. This is the European model, which I found pretty reliable. GFS is good too, but this is the one I'm picking. Window for us across the state, really late morning through early Friday, so the Tennessee Valley might be a little bit sooner than that. We'll drag this forward to Thursday at about 8 o'clock. And this is a look at 3-hour rain totals from the European model, so it's picking up on some very, very late totals across much of the state. But the impactful rain will come with the front itself beginning early afternoon. And this will be a line of showers and thunderstorms that will descend across the state throughout the afternoon and evening. As you can see, by about 10 o'clock, you've got this draped across an area probably 65 north to Montgomery, and then over towards that I-85 corridor. Remember, these are 3-hour totals, so you're looking at probably your best chance in central Alabama in mid to late afternoon. Best chance in northern Alabama early to mid-afternoon. So you see this just drifting to the south. And again, pretty decent totals are possible, especially as you get down closer to that I-85, I-65 corridor. At least that's what's being indicated here on this particular model. And I've got potential impacts, really, is some thunder as well as some rain. Brief subsevere wind gusts are also possible, but our wind energy is not especially high with this particular system. This should all be out of here by early Friday, and we should go back to a fairly quiet setup for the end of the week. So let's look at instability values here, and you can see your legend up there in the corner, and you'll notice that our instability peaks, mid-afternoon. There's supposed to be a pause point in there. Let's go back to that. This will likely be sometime with respect to the day, impacting more so central Alabama with the better instability values. Again, they're very weak numbers here, but that's probably our best bet of seeing some thunder. And then into the evening we go, instability wanes as expected. You lose daytime heating, and the frontal passage will be over with by Friday morning. So not expecting a very active event with this. Rain totals right around a half an inch possible for much of the state. Could be a bit higher in those areas with heavier periods of rain. But again, nothing too impactful for us, thank goodness, which is, we're in that period of the year where we start to see our severe weather threat increase, as the weeks go on, and we start to see some much better potential with these mid-latitude cyclones once we get into March and April. Speaking of March, how about this for the early part of the month? This is the CPC outlook, and this would take us through, let's see, days 8 to 14. So this would be as you look ahead to really the beginning of the month. So this would be the first month or first week in March, all the way up until about the 9th would be the end of the 14-day period. So at the beginning of March, certainly looking very warm. That would likely put much of the state in the 70s, perhaps some 80s down to the south. But again, this is a probabilistic look of either above or below average, and we certainly look to be in that above average window. So that's the deal here. We've got, again, the cold air Tuesday morning, very quickly followed by a warm-up. Those storms late in the week, again, don't look to be severe, but some decent rain totals and some pleasant weekend weather on the other side. It's your forecast discussion for this Monday. Y'all have a great day.